Good afternoon from Carrington. Manchester United training ahead of the Europa League last 16 first leg with Real Betis tomorrow. Training just behind me in the snow at Carrington. I'm sure the Real Betis players who have arrived today and the Real Betis fans will be loving this weather from Seville, the frying pan of Spain, I think they call it, for the heat, and into the snow in March in Manchester. I'm sure they'll be delighted with that. As you can see behind me, the United players are all wearing hats and snoods and wrapped up warm for training. It looks like pretty much a full squad out there. There's no Marcel Sabitzer. He's picked up a knock and is unavailable tomorrow. Martial still unavailable, but Varane is out there. Casemiro is out there, and Victor Lindelof is out there. So everyone who's had a knock or might have been a doubt from the weekend is back in action, it seems. I'll step to the side now so you can see them training. Just doing a few rondos at the moment and warming up before this afternoon's training session. We've just had the press conference with Erik ten Hag and Marcus Rashford ahead of the game. About a 15-minute press conference maybe, and Real Betis was not mentioned once in that game. It was obviously all about the fallout from Sunday and that 7-0 defeat to Liverpool. I think they both spoke very well, to be fair. And more of the questions to Rashford than Ten Hag, which is unusual for these European press conferences. But Ten Hag was asked about Bruno Fernandes and backed him to remain as his vice captain. I guess he is, but captain when Maguire doesn't start, which is most games these days. So he spoke very well about Fernandes being an inspiration to the rest of the team, and did touch on how we all make mistakes and people make mistakes, which is maybe a suggestion that some of his behaviour on Sunday wasn't ideal, but backed him to keep that leadership role and stay as vice captain, and did also praise the role he's played in United's success this season, the work rate he's put in, the intensity of his running and things like that. So it's a real backing for him. Rashford spoke about him as well and said he loves playing with Bruno. So some messages of support from Fernandes for Fernandes there. Rashford was asked as well about the suggestion that the players basically gave up in the second half at Anfield and called that nonsense. Was quite strong on that the players simply didn't give up, and it was quite interesting on what did go wrong in the second half, really, that there was a lack of communication, a lack of organisation, and he sort of blamed it on the idea that the players were so desperate to get back in the game that they maybe lost their shape. The gaps between midfield and defence and midfield and attack were too big. Some quite interesting stuff from Rashford in that regard on what went wrong, and Ten Hag was asked about sort of what lessons the players have learned as well, and did say that this was a big lesson for the players to learn if they want to go forward and win trophies. I think you're always going to have off days as players. Even a team like Manchester United are going to have off days, but there's having an off day and there's losing 7-0 at Anfield, and I think there's an acceptance that was very unacceptable, and Ten Hag has been pretty happy with the way the players have reacted and spoke about them basically learning the lessons from that defeat and how it can't happen again. And Rashford kind of said the same thing, that they can't let it define the season. Obviously already won one trophy. The games are coming thick and fast at the moment because they're still involved in every competition, still in the FA Cup quarter-finals, still got the Europa League in this Real Betis game. So a chance on Thursday to immediately sort of put things right from the Liverpool game, and Rashford was keen to make that case and make it happen. So that will be United's aim. You can see them still training here and doing rondos. Few cheers, spirits seem high despite the pretty miserable weather. So United will be desperate to put things right, and they have bounced back from big defeats previously pretty well this season. Obviously the 4-0 at Brentford and the 6-3 at City. They won the next game on both occasions. The Liverpool defeat was a shock because they've been doing so well. Ten Hag said today it was one defeat in 23 going into it, and I don't think anyone saw the scale of the defeat or the nature of the performance coming, but they've responded pretty well this season, and I think there's the desire in the camp to respond again and get that result. So we will see how that goes tomorrow. But I'm sure this group will respond as they have done previously this season. That's all from me at Open Training. Remember, you can subscribe to the Manchester United Manchester Evening News page on YouTube now, as well as follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And we'll have the next edition of the Manchester is Right podcast for you on Friday, looking back at the Betis game and looking ahead to Southampton.